Good afternoon, class, and welcome to today's computer session. Today, we are going to move forward with the introduction to Scratch programming. As in the previous lecture and in the online class, we have discussed that what do you understand by programming language. Let me brief you again in the very beginning that when we talk about what is a program is basically a set of instructions that are written in a particular language which is understandable by the computer so that it can execute them in a particular order to achieve the final result. Similarly, if somebody asks you that what do you understand by a programming language, you can say that a programming language is basically the language which is understood by the computer so that we can give instructions to it and the computer can understand it and work accordingly. Now, a set of programs, when is combined up together, basically leads to the formation of software. Today, we are going to learn about a programming language which basically helps us to create storylines, animations, and games. That was basically developed for children of your age group in order to cultivate their brains with programming aspects. So let us learn a few major things that you should know about the Scratch programming and its interface. So the agenda that we are going to cover up today is as follows. Firstly, we are going to talk about what is Scratch interface. After that, we are going to talk about the components of Scratch, including blocks palette, script area, and stage. Now, when we talk about the Scratch interface is basically the front end of any particular software upon which the user works. Over here, you being the programmer are going to work upon the Scratch interface, that is the front end, according to which you will be giving the instructions and on the basis of which your program will be executed and a certain action will be performed. So when we have a look on the Scratch interface over here, what do you see? You see the menu bar at the top of the interface. After that, you have the toolbar that contains 4 different options which would be discussed in the next video. After that, you have the blocks palette. The blocks palette basically contains instructions that are used to be given to the sprite that is there in the middle of the stage as a yellow cat. After that, you have the backdrops pane in the lower left corner. Then you have the backspan and the scripts area. Scripts area is basically used as a drag and drop area where the instructions are dragged from the blocks palette and dropped into the script area according to which the sprite works on the stage. When we define Scratch interface, what do we get to know? We say that Scratch interface is the front end using which the user interacts with the application software and instructs the sprite. Now you must be wondering, I'm taking the name of sprite again and again. What is a sprite? Sprite is basically the protagonist, the actor or the image which would be used for building up animations or storyline of games. Like in the previous slide, you must have observed that there was a yellow cat in the middle of the stage. So that yellow cat was the sprite in that particular stage. Sprites can be changed accordingly. We'll discuss in detail about the sprite in the upcoming videos, but right now you must just understand that sprite is the image or the character which will work upon the instructions given to it by the programmer. So there are several components of Scratch. They are as follows. First is stage. Second, it's sprites pane. Third is blocks palette. And the fourth one is the scripts area. Moving on to the next slide, we come to blocks palette. When we come to the blocks palette, what is blocks palette? Blocks basically refers to the set of the different kinds of instructions that can be given to the sprite in Scratch interface. Palette, as you know it, palette means a collection of something. As you have a color palette where you arrange a number of colors while you are painting something. Similarly, blocks palette contains a number of block control, you know, block block control palette basically contains a set of instructions that can be given to the sprite. Now the blocks palette is categorized with the different sections of or the different categories of instructions that can be given to the sprite. They are as follows: motion, looks, sound, pen, control, sensing, operators, and variables. When you define a block palette, what do you say about it? The blocks palette basically contains all the sets of commands that are used to work upon Scratch. It's not only the blocks, but also it contains different categories of blocks that are to be used to work upon Scratch. In total, there are 10 block categories that we have in Scratch. Scripts area. Now, what is scripts area? In order to instruct a particular sprite that what it has to do on the stage, you need to give certain instructions to it. Now, how are the instructions to be given? When you want to give instruction to a particular sprite, you have to select the instructions from the blocks palette area, drag them and drop them in the scripts area with respect to a particular sprite, so that on the basis of those instructions the sprite can perform certain actions on the stage. So in short, we can say that scripts area is a place on which certain instructions are given for a particular sprite by dragging and dropping the instructions from the blocks palette area onto the script area. When you define script area, what do you say? You say that firstly we should understand what is a script. That is the main question. Script is basically a collection of organized set of instructions that are given to the sprite in a Scratch program. Ordinarily, if you're talking about a script, it can be taken into two senses. The first one is in terms of programming. In terms of programming, a script is basically the program that the programmer has written, or the set of instructions that are being given to a particular computer in terms of programming language, that is termed to be a script. In other sense, when we take the word script, it is basically the actions that are to be performed by a protagonist on the stage. So that is why the term script has been used over here, considering both the senses. Now, scripts area is a place on the Scratch interface that allows the programmer to write the script, that is, write the program according to which the actions would be performed in the Scratch program, that is, by the sprite itself. In simpler words, we can say that when you want to give instructions to the sprite, you will give the instructions by dragging and dropping the instructions from the blocks palette to the script area, into the script area with respect to a particular sprite. Moving on, the most important component of Scratch interface is stage. Over here you are having two different images. The first image shows a yellow cat, that is a sprite, on the main work area that is initially blank right now, that is termed to be the stage. Now the dimensions of the stage are as follows depending upon the pixels. That is, 360 vertically to 480 horizontally in terms of pixels, and the place of the origin for the sprite is always coordinated as 0 0. Over here you see another picture of the stage where you can see the owl and lion and turtle over the green grass. Now this particular area where different actors are, or different actors that are the different sprites work upon, is termed to be the stage area. So when you define what is stage, you say that the stage is the main work area where actually the script, that is the block of code, is executed to show on screen what's actually happening in the program. In other words, it's the place where the sprite works. Now the stage is divided into pixels horizontally and vertically, that is 480 into 360 pixels respectively, and the original place of sprite is termed as origin. So that's all for today's lecture, everyone. Hope you must have enjoyed it. As you people are learning a new programming language for the first time, it is my humble request that you go through this video at least twice so that you can understand each and every concept very clearly. Thank you, everyone. That's all for today. Bye and have a great day.